Alright, hello guys, how's it going today? Usual nonsense, silly stuff. How are all you silly boys and girls? Zoidlandia? ZoidCon? The Zoid? Void? How's everybody? What's going on, chat? It's already what, 6, 7 of you here? Cool. Chill. So, random days to choose, everything else. So funny. I mean, as far as like who shows up and where, I don't know what side, whether it's on YouTube or it's on Twitch. I'm gonna guess today's gonna be one of those days where it's usually like less on Twitch, but I feel like it's gonna be one of those days where it's gonna be significantly higher on YouTube. Twitch is gonna stay like at 1, and then like YouTube's probably gonna go to like 15, 16 or something at some point, and then drop back down. Some shit like that. It's usually how that functions. So odd. Why is it saying my bitrate got low on Twitch? That's strange. Okay. It is what it is. Right, folks. Alright. Alright, I think this should do it. Oh, man. Alright, so. Welcome. Usually I kill like a minute or two, let a few people get here that, you know, often do show up when I'm doing this stuff live. But welcome, and I'll start off with a little bit about what's going on with me. Give it like a minute or two. So, since the personal shit is usually not like the big seller here. I don't even know what is, to be honest. But so I took something new. I like to update you guys like on my meds, just in case you're somebody that's, you know, trying to get a little bit of help with meds and things like that. So I had to go to a doctor's appointment before, and because my psychiatrist that gives my medication. I only see her over the phone. Over like Doxy or like telehealth or whatever. And so because of that, she can't like, according to her, she can't like check my actual blood pressure herself. So she's not comfortable prescribing things that would require her having knowledge of my specific blood pressure. And so she said, well, you can either go to your general doctor, get blood pressure stats sent to me, or you can just ask your doctor, show your doctor what you're already taking, and then ask them about the change you want to make, or that you want to do this or want to do that or whatever. And so in this case, it was for a 60 milligram I can never say it, propranolol. That's extended release, and that's why she couldn't give it to me, because the only one I had was like these little 10 milligrams, which I would take like 2 or something, and they would only work for like 2 hours with the agoraphobia stuff. But this 60 milligram extended release one gives me like a continuous stream for like a lot longer. So it was kind of cool, because we went to the beach. Is a place that it makes me really uncomfortable because of the kind of openness of it and everything else. And usually, like, even if I take the smaller I wish I knew another name for it, because I can't say the damn thing. Propranolol. Usually, I'll still be like really kind of shaky and kind of messed up there on the beach, trying to just like, push away the intrusive thinking and all this other shit. And so I took this thing, and man, it took it about an hour to really kick in, but yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, no physical symptoms for considering I would normally have them in a place like that. So anxiety was just like gone. And I still had the psych stuff, so I was just still kind of like worried and kind of, even though I was like worried and freaked out, like thought-wise, the physical symptoms just wouldn't manifest. And so after a while, you just kind of go like, well, I guess that's okay then. I'll be okay. I didn't want to like push it, so I didn't do anything that would normally really freak me the fuck out. But I challenged myself a little bit. I was walking on the sand and the beach a little bit, not close to the water, just because that's too much openness. But I was sort of like staying near and around. We have this little beach tent thing we use for like my stupid ass, and yeah, it was a pretty interesting experience to basically not feel, crippling, uncomfortable terror or in a situation you normally do. So that's good. So that works. But that's to take it as needed. So that's not something I'd want to be taking every day. That's basically just for situations in which I know it's going to be agoraphobia time. Yeah, the only problem with it, the extended release, is though it worked really good for those hours I was there. It kind of sucks when you're no longer in a situation where agoraphobia would be an issue. Or at least in my case, like I'm like back at home or something, and I'm still feeling kind of like a little high or something, like a little weird, and like kind of like mix of sleepy and like just feeling kind of not good, but just kind of feeling kind of nothing, but not that bad kind of nothing. It's kind of like, I don't like, it's a weird feeling. It's like if like somebody went up to me and was like, "Give me all your money," and they pointed a gun at me, even though normally I'd probably just be kind of like, to begin with, so never mind, that's not a good example. But like if something were to happen in which I need like a fast reaction, it would be very poor while I'm taking that, because I'm just like in this like, yeah, it's just fine, it's fine, everything's all right, it's fine. like that. So yeah, but so yeah, so that's an update on the medication and the change, the significant change. And I upped my ADHD medication as well, but I think I mentioned that last time. Okay, why is it still telling me the bitrate is so low on Twitch? I don't know. I don't know why. It's one thing saying one thing, whatever. It's the usual bit. Any case, so it's Schizoid Saturday, and today I have a subject, and I had a question that I put over the week. I got a couple of answers I saw, because I don't read them until it's time to read them, but I'll look to see if any were submitted. Just to see if I at least got like 5 or 6 or more. I got a few, not as many as I would have liked, because I thought it was a fairly easy question, or a question that is literally like something that goes hand in hand for a lot of schizoids, like just very common kind of theme or situation. And well, the question I had asked, oh shit, that was loud. Sorry about that. My browser has all kinds of dumb noises because I'm dumb. The question that I put forward for this, why is it doing that? Whatever. It's, was the following. So I had asked, what pessimistic views do you know are... Oh my god. Can't even separate the word. Oh, that's stupid. There. What pessimistic views do you know are harmful to you or your goals, and wish to overcome them, but it's damn hard? So, like, the question is kind of more along the lines of, like, are you self-aware of your kind of sometimes destructive, sometimes counterproductive pessimism, right? Are you aware that it's just this kind of subjective pessimism that you place upon specific things, that isn't necessarily some kind of, you know, objective truth, a truism or some shit, right? And so that feeling of like, you know this is something that you're kind of doing, but you still can't seem to get past it or overcome it, or get your brain to sort of recognize it as essentially something that you're doing, you're making a choice regarding, and that isn't, and you're not coping with like the whole, oh well, it's not pessimism, it's the truth or something like that, which sometimes, like, I say that like I've had that experience, right? And like when I think about it, I just kind of cringe, because I'm like, oh my god, like the hubris, such a statement, when it comes to like talking about especially things that are highly subjective, and you're using kind of like your own, you're not like you're using how you judge things based on like a handful of anecdotal evidence that you've gathered, you know, based on a insufficient amount of information, and maybe your information is plenty, but it's very limited to very specific sources or experiences, and it doesn't range outside of that very much. So I find that interesting, and the question was, I wanted to know how many people were sort of self-aware of that this is happening, and that it is causing them harm, or that it is counterproductive to what few goals they may have. Even if that goal is just to have peace of mind, right? Like, I'm not saying like some crazy big, I want to own my own pizza parlor type shit. Just the goal of having some peace of mind, or not feeling like everything's worthless and hopeless all the time, is like, you want to not do that. You don't want to feel that way, but there's some kind of blockers keeping you from being able to overcome these kind of this inability to unstick yourself from some of your, you know, personal experience manifested pessimism about everything and anything. Well, not everything and anything, but like a lot of very big things. Because it's kind of like what oftentimes fuels the apathy, the ambivalence, the sort of resignation that you know how it is, right? Like you know how it is already. So why try? Why do anything? Why this? Why that? You already found the truth, and the truth is horrible and disgusting and depressing, and you're going to be isolated, and that's all there is to it because you're the cursed one. I am the cursed one. Some shit like that, right? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I know I'm being silly and I'm being kind of like jokey when I say like I'm the cursed one, but legit, like a lot of schizoids, they feel that they don't. I'm not saying they victimize themselves. They don't walk around moping and you know mourning the death of the life they never had or some shit like out loud. They sure shit won't do that usually, but if they do it, it's going to be happening very quietly and internally. They'll have like these almost like and no, it's a bad choice of words because I don't want to call it melodramatic because that kind of invalidates it and stuff, and it's not. It's very sincere, but it is like the scope of how they perceive themselves against the world and the pessimism they have of the world oftentimes and of themselves and what they are and what they could be in the world that they're already kind of pessimistic about. It gets to a point of like sometimes it gets to a point of absurdity, right? But it feels oh so very real inside of you. And I did a lot of that. I spent a lot of time doing that. I would say, especially in my 20s. That was like every day. To see sort of pessimistic narratives about large swaths of information and things. And it's really interesting because it wasn't just like, say, based on entirely anecdotal evidence in the sense of I had like all these bad experiences with people, and so thus all people, all connection, all this, all that, all this and that, like splitting really hard on sort of is bad and corrupt and can never change, and ultimately, you know, it's futile to this and that, or more internal like self beliefs about like I'm some kind of heartless ghost thing that was never meant to have been alive, and I roam the earth like Cain, and so like it's these narratives are often almost theatrical, and I say that like knowing that I kind of did very much these sort of it's not the same as like grandiosity at all. It's more like whatever would be like the opposite of grandiosity. It's like some kind of reverse grandiosity. Like you just get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and your hopes get smaller and your motivation gets smaller, and you have these sort of I don't know if you guys I know it's a silly example. I don't know how many of you guys saw the second what is it called, the Inside Out movie. I watched it with the kids. My little one and my wife wanted to see it. We went to go see it, and I thought it was a neat movie. It was interesting because the girl is a 13-year-old in the movie at this point, and my daughter's a 13-year-old, and my 13-year-old daughter was just like wincing during the movie because like I have a feeling because some stuff was relatable or hit home, like some of the insecurities and shit that a lot of people have at that age. And so anyway, the reason I brought that up is because there's this concept that they bring up, and I'm not going to give away like story stuff for those that do like those movies. There's this concept that they kind of bring up that wasn't in the first movie about beliefs, how beliefs are created, right? And it was pretty cool how they handle it. It's pretty cool how essentially in the first movie they're collecting, these orbs which are memories. And in the second movie, they're talking about what those memories are actually used for, like what they ultimately, um, how an identity is created within this kind of Disney-esque way. Um, and I was just picturing like what would the schizoid internal, you know, Disney Inside Out world look like, right? Its belief system strings. They're like shaped like strings. And at first I thought, oh, it's just gonna be like a bunch of really negative or really like, darkened strings, right? Beliefs. Right? But then I thought no, because a lot of schizoids are actually incredibly wholesome people. They have a lot of really positive views of a lot of things that aren't necessarily humans and things and other aspects of nature and the world and existence, right? They do have things that they love and they appreciate, but it usually doesn't involve themselves, right? Not all. It's generally not the case. I'm not saying for everybody, but no. So then I started thinking, I'm like, what would it look like, really? And I feel like there would just be like some strings over here that are like glowing and full of life, and then another pile of strings, but really condensed, and it in specific sections of this like little pool thing. You would have like these, like, of course, these like, you know, purple lightning, red and black, just really unhealthy core beliefs that they just, and then, but most of it would just be like vacant space, a bunch of like vacant space, a sort of like lack of belief in a variety of things. And they would have an unfinished identity, an incomplete sense of self. But anyway, here or there. So I'm going to start reading some of the answers I got to the question regarding what I sort of put forward. This idea of, are you self-aware that your pessimism is pessimism sometimes, and not like objective truth, even though it feels as if it is, right? Because I see a lot of this. It's on either on the server or when I talk to people myself. I see a lot of people making these like declarative statements about like the negative and impossible to overcome aspects, various aspects of like existence in and of itself, especially human existence, and so on and so forth. Hold on, let's see here. Oh, and by the way, guys, if I'm in a kind of extra rambly mood, I think it's because technically the propranolol is in my system because I took the extended release. So I'm feeling a little kind of like, whoa, just chill. Kind of like, I'm not in a hurry. Like kind of feeling from the meds. So hopefully it's wearing off. I was worried I was going to be like I was this morning, where I was just like, that's fine. It's fine. It's not thinking. Okay, let's get started here. Man, why is that? I think YouTube's always lying to me. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's go. And let me unmute myself from the Discord, just in case anybody wants to hop in and have a chat. Or not unmute, sorry, undeafen. So let's see here. Okie dokes. So, like I said, the question was, what pessimistic views do you know are harmful to you? or your goals, and you wish to overcome them, but it's damn hard. So it's about that self-awareness, right? Like, you know some of those pessimistic views. Like, you know objectively they can be absurd or too much, but they're still so fucking hard to overcome, right? Versus, somebody that would just say, oh no, these are just truisms and the world is this bad, like on some objective way. That is kind of this and I've seen this before. It's really interesting to see people that have a high degree of introspection when it comes to like so much shit, but that degree of contextualizing and metacognitive capacity, which is oftentimes incredibly high, it's sort of very it can't go there. It can't go toward the stuff about how they identify with the world and things like that, because that's when things almost become irrational. And that's okay, because feelings are worked that way. But that's where the feelings are. The feels are there, right? The feels, not facts. No, just kidding. Yeah, is when it comes to talking about oneself and their place in the world, then all of a sudden, everything they would even say about others goes out the fucking door. All the reason and contextualizing that they would place as being asked about other people that are suffering, or that they themselves know are like decent people. All of those arguments are just so often just gone. They're nowhere to be found once the question about them comes up. Let me see here. And by the way, those watching on Twitch, is it streaming okay? Can you guys hear me? Everybody on YouTube too? So I got like 5 people on Twitch and like 8 people or something on YouTube. Okay. Just want to make sure it's working. All right, first submission. And like I said, there's not that many, but there's a couple of juicy ones in here, I think. Let me see. Hopefully. Maybe I'm just making shit up because I haven't read them, so I don't know. Maybe they're just going to tell me you're fucking stupid. This question is dumb. I'll just be like, oh, okay. That works. All right. What is this? Come on. All right, here we go. Dear Angst, not knowing whether I will finish my uni schooling or not. I'm so close, so I should be optimistic, right? It's interesting. So where's the pessimism being placed there? I wish I would have elaborated a bit more. So even though things are going well and they're very close to finishing their university, I'm guessing this person's probably early 20s or something, mid-20s. They're close, so they should be optimistic, right? What should they be optimistic about? Are they I'm guessing based on the framing is that they're pessimistic about their ability to actually complete their university and get their degree or whatever, right? So I'm assuming that's what they're referring to. Because there's a couple different ways this can go, right? Like, if they're referring to that and they're on track, and unless something catastrophic happens, that nothing should really stop them from being able to do that, then yes, I guess they're being pessimistic about something they don't need to there, right? The other way I can interpret this short blurb of a submission is the idea that, oh, I'm about to graduate uni, I should feel good about life, right? I should be hopeful, and I should be like thinking my life's on track. This is great, but I don't. I still feel very pessimistic about my life, even with something that required a great deal of effort to complete has now been accomplished, right? So, thanks, Khalil. Yeah, so I wish they would have provided more detail, just because I couldn't guess which one exactly, what it means. Not knowing whether I will finish. I'm so close. I should be more optimistic. It's interesting. Okay. This next one's a little more meat on it. Let's see here. And remember, guys, like, if you guys submit stuff on here, just go ham. Like, you want to ramble for a good chunk, you want to put a little wall of text up, that's fine. It's not going to piss me off. It's not going to make me, oh fuck, it's so long. No, it's not going to inconvenience me. It's going to help, and it's going to give me the more details you can give me. And even if you go off on a little bit of a tangent, that's perfectly fine. It's always helpful. Okay. Stay here. Dear Angst, people are often only concerned with satisfying their own emotional needs, even to the point of denying reality and themselves. If one does not want to deny themselves and reality, they must forego the satisfaction of their emotional needs. By self-denial, I particularly mean the denial of intrapersonal morality. I wish I could have a different experience, but somehow most people around me are like this. Am I just unlucky with the people I meet, or is it really like this? I don't know. I'm trying to see how applicable and what it is they're trying to say about the question. Because the question is asking about a certain level of sort of self-awareness about your own pessimism and wishing to overcome aspects of it, but not being able to for a variety of reasons. But people are often only concerned with their emotional needs, even to the point of denying reality and themselves. Yes, like I could agree with that. Like I read that statement, and I don't think that's pessimism. I think that's actually pretty true. Like, people do that. They will often deny, like, almost physical reality because it hurts too much. Hey, waiting for Godot. Welcome. Welcome to whatever the hell it is that I'm trying to do with all this. It's kind of a slow night. I'm actually surprised. Saturdays are usually where more people show up. But not this Saturday, apparently. Kind of odd. Maybe it was the question. I don't know. But I'm just reading over this again because I really want to get into it a little bit. If one does not want to deny themselves and reality, they must forego the satisfaction of their emotional needs. That's not a true statement, though. There's plenty of aspects of reality one can easily dissect and take part in and accept without necessarily foregoing their emotional needs, right? Like, there's a bunch of stuff that I accept about reality that I fucking hate and I wish it was different. But I don't tie my emotional needs to merely accepting that information, like accepting certain information. In fact, if anything, in some ways I'm doing it because I need it, like answers, as painful as this sometimes could be, in order to sort of validate some kind of emotional needs that I used to have a lot more trouble being able to locate, find. So I'm not saying like, oh, debate me, bro, but I'm just saying, like, to me, I don't agree with that statement. By self-denial, I particularly mean denial of intrapersonal morality. Intrapersonal morality. Why self-denial? Okay. I wish I could have a different experience, and somehow most people around me are like this. Like what? They do the by self-denial, particularly meaning denial. So that humans don't generally have interpersonal morality, and that you experience most people you come across as being this way, and that's because they're too busy satisfying their own emotional needs, and they're denying reality. Is that what are you guys getting the interpretation here? Because this one's a little bit challenging, because there's a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas. I've read it like 3 times. What do you guys have a take? what it is this person is trying to say, because I kind of do, but there's so many ways I could pick apart the elements here, because I want to understand their story. I want to understand what it is they're experiencing. So, because I get that feeling. If this is what they're saying, I can't, put words in their mouth, but if they're saying that their pessimism about other human beings is tied to what they see is commonly what they commonly see as like everyday human behavior of essentially not having intrapersonal morality. Also, I'm guessing like the sort of lack of metacognition that most people possess, and they struggle between seeing that as the truth and merely maybe just their experiences that have kind of shaped a pessimism. What I think about them more is how even if this was actually like the case in the way that they're describing, why it would necessarily mean the crippling of their own ability to want to make alterations to the said state, even if only on a local level. I mean, it's if they're talking about like that sort of lack of metacognitive capacity and sort of self-serving emotional need type mentality, I think that's more a how do I explain this? It's a lot it's a lot less human nature, because that's a really questionable thing, especially if you if you get into the philosophy of it. But and it's more what has essentially been shaped in many ways into us by both a combination of social well, I mean, it's funny, it's because engineered sometimes social norms, and also evolutionary pressures that occurred throughout time, and basically the internal struggle of a lot of human beings, often referred to as like the human condition of the animal self, the impulsive self, the things that your body and things drive you toward, but that your mind is as complex as the human brain has become, comes into conflict with, right? So it's kind of interesting when like somebody says like, oh, this is the core of human nature, this is, so I would say, based on those meanderings in my head, I would say that this person, I think that's just somehow most people around me, right? And another thing that often happens too, and I'm guilty of this, is that once you have these beliefs established about people in the world, call it whatever you want, but it almost seems to like you just become a magnet for it. And on top of that, and I'm not talking something metaphysical necessarily, I'm just saying you kind of end up putting yourself, like putting a target on your back for having more of this shit and more examples to sort of feed and nurture that pessimism. And you start collecting more and more anecdotal evidence throughout the course of your life, as well as even through your own personal interests and research and everything else, right? Like if I have these very strong negative beliefs about my species, and the stuff that affirms, it's like this kind of weird, it's that cognitive bias, or it's that bias, but it goes in a kind of unhelpful and almost self-destructive direction, which is really interesting. Having beliefs that in many ways cause you harm, and that you wish so much that things were different, because knowing this or believing this is just so fucking, just makes life, it just sucks all the fucking color out of life. Um, and that same bias is still going to be active, even if it's something that like is, consistently hurting you. It's no different than people that like are leaning into a bias that makes them feel good or better, right? It it almost becomes like affirming your negative beliefs um, becomes like an emotional need, a very unhealthy emotional need, or a way to cope with emotional needs that aren't being met or can't be met because you wouldn't even know how to meet them because you might not even know what they are. I feel like I've seen schizoids that use, not intentionally, unconsciously use pessimistic perspectives and views to, because they got so used to it, and also it stops the resignation of some stuff, uh, squashes all hope, and without hope, there's a lot less pain. Confirmation bias. There you go. Loop through a fixed interpretation. Yeah, Khalil, like that. But it's like stuff that most people would be like, "Oh, those are terrible beliefs. Why would you want to confirm those biases?" Right? Those don't make you feel good, or those aren't cope, but they kind of can be because believing negative things about the world and the self, like I am cursed, the world is, God is dead and we killed him, kind of shit. Um, and going down that sort of nihilistic rabbit hole. By the way, I'm a proponent of optimistic slash productive nihilism. I love the stuff, but and it is kind of less painful to do that than it is to deal with a lot of this sort of neurodivergent trauma that hasn't been worked on, or they don't even know how to work on it. This kind of emptiness, this loneliness, this emotional vacuum type feeling. Um, so if there's nothing to hope for in the world, if the world is something there's nothing to hope about, then it's less painful when one feels hopeless, right? Um, if that makes any sense. All right, I'm gonna do the next one here. All right, dear Angst, I've definitely been blaming external circumstances and thus developed rewarding but not helpful loops of thought around the specific situation in my everyday life. The joy of confirming your subdued position, if you are in a position, is not productive. The metaphysical constructs of cultural and social standards has to be followed to some degree, as in conformity, but there are always options to explore to reduce that dependency, if that is your wish. These vary wildly by which country you happen to be situated in, absolutely. Working the system to your benefit is not a shame, if it's necessary for your own survival, both mentally and physically. Apathy is the real danger. Things are always moving, so keeping up with what you choose to care about is key. Based. Absolutely. But that's what's interesting. Gator Dog, you said, I'm always told I'm looking at the glass half empty. Yeah, see, I look at the glass half empty a lot too, right? A lot of people would call me a pessimist for sure. But I've learned over the last few years to kind of use a combination of nihilistic sort of humor, or the laughing at absurdity, combined with essentially, it's like I have hope, but um, I think that there's so many outside things to overcome and challenges to overcome to reverse a course on a lot of the stuff that is has been bred into us or into humans um, over time, over the general population. Um, Sometimes even I would say sometimes, mostly by accident and by circumstance, and a small percentage, I would say only like 10% of a pie, is through intentional engineering, right? Because you can't control a lot of this. So the best thing you can do is influence parts that you will hope will domino effect in some possible way. And you just kind of bank on that, but you'll never know if it was sheer circumstance or not. But all you can do is fiddle at the top with that 10% slice of the pie you have. If the glass is half empty or half full isn't my main problem. I'd rather think about its content making me less thirsty. There you go. Yeah, right. Well, what's in the glass, right? If it's water, then it's good. I don't care about the glass. It's water. Um, Somebody told me that they said believing the glass is half empty is pessimism. Believing the glass is half full is optimism. Believing the glass has water in it is knowledge. So glass half empty could be an optimistic perspective. Depends on what glass or the people it represents are half full. Yeah. To put it like more, it's like, oh, the glass is half empty, but the half that is full is made up of either really healthy stuff, or you could say, oh, it's just acid, you know. But the best thing I think it would say, it's like, oh, it's a slightly unhealthy, it's a drink that's not good for you, but it won't kill you. That's I think the more reasonable approach. It's like the shitty sugar-filled Hawaiian punch, right? It's just well, yeah, there you go. It's full of piss. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you drink your own piss, especially coming out hot, you'll probably be all right. But it's disgusting. But it won't kill you. But I don't know. I don't know about piss. I like to see more like a sugary fruit drink, like or something that'll satiate your thirst temporarily, because there is some water in it, but ultimately it does cause some harm. That's what the glass is full of. Right. It isn't all good or all bad, but anyway, sorry, I just lost myself in that one for sure. But yeah, I like what they said at the beginning, which is I've definitely been blaming external circumstance. I feel like a lot of schizoids do that shit. They'll and I kind of did it, right? I did it in a really big way a bunch of times in my life. Like, okay, here's an example, right? And I have some regrets about this, right? But I was really looking forward to when I went to college, and I got my bachelor's in history, and then I went to grad school, and my original goal was to get go for the master's and then work at a junior college, and then keep going to school at some later point, get the PhD, and then maybe try to at least become an adjunct. Probably would have to have been like two different universities or three, 'cause the way this shit works. For different history courses, and get into talking about my perspectives on this stuff, kind of bleed some of my perspectives on human history and things like that. Throw a little bit of my schizo in there, not too crazy. And I had these ideas, and I thought, oh, this place is where I can finally do something, and I can say the things, and even if it's a small something, I can do something. And so I let the pessimism that I had about people, right, and how they behave and what they do, that I already possessed, shape how I was viewing every aspect of academia, right? And so, I would notice things like, oh, the people that are tenured at my university are the people that are oftentimes the least open, the least curious, the least concerned about certain ideas being true or not, because their research or their jobs are on the line based on that, right? Kind of goes with what the other person said about denying reality for emotional need, right? A lot of academics do that, and a lot of institutions especially do that. And a lot of institutions stoke so much fear in the academics that they kind of just toe that same line. So, but at the same time, I because of this, right? It's what made me just kind of give up on a lot of this, give up on academia, give up on this and give up on that, right? And I'm not saying, oh, I was so pessimistic because I saw these things and I saw these problems. No, no, I don't think that is necessarily pessimism. That would just be looking at what is there. But the problem what becomes is when it hijacks everything and large decisions I make about how I move forward, right? Because now I think back, right, after doing so much work on myself, uh, and after basically overcoming a lot of this shit, because I mean, I can't just talk the talk. I got to try to walk the walk. It hasn't been easy, and and I look back and I have a more kind of less resigned, extra sort of like rebellious and somewhat kind of hopeful, even in a rational way, and being okay with it. Um, More perspective. So some parts of me sort of wish I had gone down that line and made that my, path of war. You because I met people, you know, at university and stuff. Other like usually the adjunct professors, meaning those aren't like the tenured full time professors. They only worked like part time there. They usually worked at like two or three different universities. Some of the best, most intelligent, most curious, most humble, uh, most metacognitive um, historians were adjunct professors. And so then, like, I thought, and some of them wanted to have, more solid positions, but some of them were also kind of neurodivergent, I think. They were kind of socially awkward, uh, too outspoken, a little crass, and but they were never unreasonable, right? They would get fiery sometimes, but they weren't unreasonable. They would listen to your arguments, they would listen to your ideas, they would have conversations with you. And you could actually convince them of things if you made a good enough argument that they may later, convince themselves out of because they find something else, or they'll bring it back to you and be like, nope, see this stuff. Then if you reciprocate in the same way, it creates this really cool interaction. But instead of being like, oh, I have to do something to band together all these fucking weirdo professors that like are far more reasonable and willing to talk and more curious and less afraid and less worried about status and less afraid of like how that new information or this kind of thinking would like affect their very very comfortable itinerary of how they teach what they teach and what they teach, and how it might invalidate some previous piece of research, or it would force them to admit something about their previous research that they made a mistake about, and that would make them feel shame instead of making them feel like excited about a discovery. Um, yeah, to be that one of those people, it just like tries to like motivate the other ones that are more meek into being like, no, 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 like don't let them do that to you. Don't let them fuck with you like that. We'll fuck with them right back. We know how to fuck with them. And I don't regret that now. I just think about it, but I don't regret that now because otherwise I wouldn't have found this, which is far more important than trying to like have some local university level war with my own, I don't know, history department or something. If I manage to like continue on and get a PhD and then just become like a fucking adjunct professor and then protest at the very fucking universities thing and happen or some shit. Man, there's so many protests at so many universities, and most of them are for like the stupidest things. Just fucking asinine bullshit instead of like the real fucking core problems. That's because nobody's. It's just I don't know. Anyway, now my pessimism is showing. Right. So anyway, yeah, that was a whole big thing. It just made me think about all that. Like all that popped into my head reading this and looking at that about the external circumstances. And they also mentioned that it's rewarding, and it's kind of interesting too, because it's like I still get this feeling. I don't know about you guys, right? But I still get this feeling that like when something crazy or really bad, or when like shit hits the fan, there is like some kind of like afterward you might feel like, but like initially there is some kind of like feeling of I don't know if it's a validation or there's a better word. Um, there's a word. There's a good word for it. What's the word for if you have a belief and you stated it and that everyone's like, no, you're wrong, you're wrong. That's crazy. You're crazy. And then the thing happens and you feel, oh, I got it. Vindicated. There you go. There's a feeling of vindication. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Yeah, oh, Don, yeah, you got it. Yeah. Vindication. Yes. And I still get that feeling, right? Like when I was watching the other day, I was watching I watched it not because I have a huge stake in it at all, but because I was actually just being a little shithead that wanted to see some crazy, bad, annoying, memeable shit happen. But I was watching the Trump and Biden debate thing that everyone's fucking talking about. Even the takes that people have, I'm just like, all right, like, that's what you got out of it. I just wanted to see like the insanity of the fact that we have a bunch of old, like super old people that should be living in Florida and be retired, or should be doing something more locally or internally like meaningful to their life, like just fucking try to be the figurehead of running one of the largest countries on earth and powerful. Like it's just so bananas to me, right? Like that's like the questions the reporters should be asking shouldn't be about fucking this or that popular policy. It should be, do you believe that men that are 70 plus, almost 80 years old, should be you know, should be the ones making major decisions that ultimately shape a nation full of people much much younger than themselves. Black Mirror episode. There's a Black Mirror episode about that. I don't know. I stopped watching Black Mirror. I saw like the first two seasons, I think, and then kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. Oh, dystopia, and some of them were kind of like cringe, and it was just like doom porn, but it wasn't like even clever. Um, but yeah. Like I was just thinking, like, why don't they ask him that? Like that's a good question. Like, do you guys think that this is a good idea? You're almost 80. You are 80, or you just turned 80, and the other guy's been 80 or some shit, or something like. I think it's like they have like a 5 or like 6 year, 7 year difference or something. Yeah, it is significant. One's 80, one's late 70s, the other one's like mid 80s or some shit, or almost mid 80s. And just saying, like, do you guys think like just based on what we understand about the human brain, based on the massive canyon that is generational gap, based on the concerns and even the way the lexicon you use. I mean, you got one motherfucker saying malarkey. Do you guys should really be up here on this stage right now at all? Like, is this a good idea? Like, they should ask them that to their face. And so, anyway, I knew that kind of fun stuff wouldn't happen, but I just wanted to see, you know, the stuttering old man that loses his train of thoughts every like 10 seconds, and a fucking bloviating narcissist old man who just says his own brand of nonsensical rhetoric. It's like, man, it's so much fun. They're the perfect place for Angst. They don't have to do anything. They just have to take the blame for half the population. So you don't look at what you really. And yeah, I know. I get that. I get that. I get that. I don't see it as a grand conspiracy. I see it as like a bunch of fucking people behind the scenes that are vying for power, thinking, "Oh, we're just gonna have some dumb fucking idiot like senile senior citizens fucking be the leaders of the free world, so that we can, you know, push and pull the levers that are gonna make, you know, me feel good, make my life better." Yeah, yeah, you got a bunch of fucking just sick fucks that are very much enjoying and exploiting the fact that we literally have two people that are just no. No. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so when I was watching it, I felt a little bit vindicated. Even though it's pointless. I just felt vindicated. I'm like, okay, this is what's gonna happen, that's what's gonna happen. And I thought it was going to be worse. That was disappointing. I wanted it to be much worse, much more of a shit show. I wanted to see them. I wanted to see them throw shit at each other. Like, haha, there's Trump's yours. Yeah, hilarious. Anyway, so yeah. But I felt all I could have, because I'm so just sort of like resigned to, oh, this is how it's always gonna be. This is the world, and blah blah blah. Like, I was just all I could bank on was just feeling vindicated by knowing this thing that I know, and then seeing the shit show, seeing the shit hit the fan, and then getting that little small surge of like, ha ha ha! Look at that! I'm always right. Now we're doing awesome, you know. So sometimes that sort of pessimism can give you the sense of vindication when things go awry, when things go bad. I've talked to other schizoids before, and they mentioned this kind of weird feeling of like shit hits the fan. Like, they look outside the window and humans are like doing something fucking crazy, or the institutions are doing something fucking nuts, and then they have this sort of like feeling of like, that feels kind of good for some reason, right? Man, that's grim. Being right all the time sucks when you're a negative Nancy. Yeah, but that's what's so funny, is that you could also be right about a lot of really great things, right? There's probably a lot of really positive shit, or productive shit, that you could put your big fucking brain to and actually like make that shit happen more. But you just enjoy, and I'm not saying everyone, but there's this sort of like, you know, because of the emptiness that comes with being dealing with a lot of the schizoid stuff. Like, one of the few joys or sick pleasure, like, no, a guilty pleasures that you have is that feeling of the vindication. Like, you know, it's like being the guy that says the end is near, the end is near, spends like 15 years saying the end is near, 20 years. Everyone throws shit at him and says, you're a fucking idiot, you're crazy, that's never gonna happen, blah blah. And then, like, you know, you see on the news fucking demons are coming out of the earth, and you know, fucking monsters and shit are eating people in the street, and there's like chaos and havoc, even knowing you're probably going to get killed, there's still going to be a feeling of like, see, I told you it was right, the world is ending. I was right, it is ending. This is what you get. You didn't listen. You didn't listen. All with like a smile on your face. It's so weird. And I've heard a few Zoids kind of tell me that like they're self-aware that they kind of get this sort of style of feeling. All right, hold on, guys. That was my little one. Schadenfreude. It is like Schadenfreude, but it's on like a meta scale, like a meta level. But it's not. It's not really Schadenfreude though, because Schadenfreude usually is more like, oh, the bad thing happened, but it's not me, so it's funny, haha, right? It's more like that. It wouldn't really be Schadenfreude because you're fucked too. It's happening to you too, right? You're still living in that world. It's still infecting you. It's still making your life, including everyone else's, that much worse. So I would feel I don't think it's Schadenfreude because it's happening to you as well. Um, yeah, I think vindication is a better word for that one. But it's really unproductive, regardless of. But it's unproductive, but I can't blame a lot of schizoids that do get that feeling. I can't blame them for enjoying what little vindication they can get out of it. Because if you stack on top everything else about this lack of even cohesive identity or feeling like you don't belong in the world to begin with, for a variety of reasons that I don't want to get into for this stream that I previously discussed plenty. Um, yeah, I can't even blame them for getting what little they can, what scraps they can. It doesn't mean anything if it affects them too. Um, it does vindication wise. It can affect you, and still you can get this feeling of vindication. So it does mean something to that person that's feeling vindicated. They will usually realize how stupid or pointless that feeling of vindication even is. But they'll get the feeling. And no, of course not. No, of course not. I'm not saying it's a good thing. And I'm saying I don't blame them. Like, I'm not going to be like, they're bad people because of it. No. Or they've got to pick themselves up by the bootstraps. Like, no, it's fucking crazy. I get why it happens. Because they don't have anything else. There's nothing. It's because why would you? The problem too is that even if like even if the world, even if they could be saved, all that would mean is they're gonna last that much longer, saved in a world they don't want to be. No, see, I don't buy into human nature. There's a lot of stuff about human nature or the idea of human nature that I don't buy. Oh, by the way, a person that just jumped on, if you wanted to talk during the stream about any of this, go ahead and just because I don't think you've ever done so, just send me a quick DM about if it is you want to talk about the subject I'm talking about, and then I can make it so that you can talk on the stream. So just DM me, and yeah, because I don't recognize who you are. We just do that to keep the stream safe, so that like some rando doesn't show up to start dropping like non-stop machine gun and N bombs and stuff, because Twitch gets all weird. It's unproductive because idiots can't see 2 steps past their noses. They look for the dramatic conclusion for a clue rather than putting attention to feedback. Yeah, I get it. I get that stuff's true, but we can't. I mean, my opinion is we can't let it just shape every fucking thing we do. And we can't let that resignation just eat us up and make it like objective reality or something. Hold on, let me see. Did they? They did. Oh, okay. Got it, got it. All right. Hold on. I'll fix it right now. Uh, Wait, but you already have the rule. Oh, I think that's your Discord then. You should already have
Oh,
the. Oh,
oh
Jesus
no.
Christ, you're loud. Okay, hold on. God damn. All right, say something again.
Yeah, I had myself muted because sometimes my Discord closes.
Got it, got it. All right, that's perfectly fine. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. My daughter's totally forgot I was streaming. My older one. Yeah, 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 yeah. So like in my mind, Don, it's I just go like, oh, well, then we should work toward helping what people we can in our lives understand how to use feedback, how to overcome some of these things to whatever degree. It's kind of what I mean. Instead of just resigning ourselves to just this sort of unstoppable devastation that we might sometimes perceive about both ourselves and the world that we inhabit. Right? Um, but again, I'm not saying like, oh well, if you're not doing that, you should be ashamed. You're being a weak. Like no, it's like no, I get it because I was there. I get why that would be so fucking just a Herculean effort. It really is because I'm doing it to whatever flawed degree I'm attempting to do it with this stuff, right? I guess like one lesson I've learned about how to handle my own pessimism is sort of choosing the the choosing the meaning that comes with attempting to do something productive and positive that runs contrary to what I believe to be the state of the world. Um, and the I guess emotional enjoyment. What would it be? Emotional, whatever it is. I don't know. Emotional tuning or something that comes with doing what I think is has meaning in the face of you know probably impossible adversity or something. Um, and it's okay if I lose. I mean, I won't feel great, but existentially, it's okay if I lose or I'm crushed under some the weight of some like impossible boulder. It's okay because you might as well be crushed by that, trying your hardest, than to be crushed by some other thing that you're indifferent to, that you had even less control over. One must live a good life to die a good death. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Meaningful life give you a more acceptable death. Um, no, the pragmatism is fine. I get it. It has its flaws, but it's also incredibly important. Oh shit! Let me continue reading these because I got like very few left, but think I only have two left. I only have the two left. Okay. The next one says, okay, they repeat my question, which was, what pessimistic views do you know are harmful to you or your goals, and you wish to overcome them, but it's damn hard? They followed that up with a Whoa Jack Dread emo and said that the vast majority of people will never understand or respect my differences. If I reveal myself, I will be rejected. Yeah, I mean, it's what's interesting about that is depending on those differences, oh dear writer, the vast majority of people probably will not within your lifetime, unless things get a lot better, um, understand or respect your differences. But you don't need the vast majority of people to do that. You just need a fine-tuned group of individuals that do that to hopefully support your ability to whatever small degree, whatever you're comfortable with at all, combating those misapprehensions or misunderstandings about your differences. And God knows schizoids are fucking different. So, so that's kind of like, but that's a better route, in my opinion, than just being like just squashed by that pessimism. Rejection is good if it happens before you invest much into it. Then it wouldn't really be rejection if right, if we don't care. Would it be? Oh, it's still rejection. But no, what I was gonna say is rejection is good when you're being rejected by people you don't even want in your life. I love being rejected by people I don't want in my life. That's great. That means I'm on the right track. When people that like don't like the things I say and do, and those people are, through my subjective perspective, not people that are great people to be around, I don't get happy because haha fuck them. It's more like, oh okay, I'm on the right track. I'm pissing off this kind of person. That's good. That's a good thing. This kind of person's getting angry. That means it's what I said was effective. To some degree. Because I've had people that didn't like me or like the stuff I say or whatever, or got like send me like an angry DM or something. And because I just kind of I try to be very accepting of that. Like I don't get angry. I just go like, oh well, what? I'm just gonna keep on trucking, you know. But thanks for the thoughts. You do you. You do whatever you want. I'm perfectly fine with you really disliking my words. And then like those people end up like either they continue hate watching for some reason, or they kind of reluctantly agree with some of what I say. So then they end up liking some of what I say, but ultimately don't like other portions. But they're reasonable enough to where, you know, they're not gonna throw away the whole thing, I guess. So I don't know. Oh, let me read the last one here because I'm running out of time. Oh, sorry, Herschel, did you want to contribute to this? I forgot. Is there something you wanted to talk about regarding all this?
Nothing at the moment.
Oh, okay. I just don't want. I wanted to give you a chance because the stream's about to end pretty soon here. So, so I just wanted to give you a chance just in case it was in relation to the topic. Let me read the last one here. Dear Angst, not sure what you mean by pessimistic beliefs. Is it how I always assume anyone I want to talk to won't want to talk to me? How after every conversation, unless I've been carefully watching the other person for body language, I leave convinced that they can't stand me? Or like if I really need someone's help, then I assume I'll be punished if I ask? Yeah, if that counts as pessimistic beliefs, then sure, I have them and they are harmful. I've been working on them and getting better at stuff like this. The watching people thing has helped a lot. I started doing it when I learned of cognitive empathy and how to practice it. I highly recommend. Another thing that helps with this stuff is therapy. Um, yeah, I mean, see, that's kind of that's what's interesting. It's that kind of turn that's happening there, right, with this person that I'm sort of talking about. It's good. Like they saw it, they became self-aware of this sort of subjective pessimism that they seem to apply to people as a whole, and they admit that they possess it, and it still continues to this day, and they can see how it's harmful, and so they're taking steps to try to reconceptualize aspects of it without invalidating the internal feelings that come with it, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is you can remain pessimistic without it like crippling your life. If that makes any sense. You don't have to deny reality. You could very much be aware of it. You just find a way to do what you need to in life. And I'm not just talking about what you personally want and need. If you need to do something more, if you feel like you want to contribute against this thing that you find incredibly depressing and not good, you can do that. Use that energy to contribute in whatever small way that you can, instead of just sort of being drowned in the sorrows that come with it, and the resignation, the apathy that comes with knowing some of these things and being aware of them, and then being emotionally attached almost to some degree to these things. Whether it's because it validates your thoughts or the vindication thing I was talking about, but yeah, a lot of aspects to it. Like, I guess part of my goal is to hopefully get some of the Zoids out there to just do what they feel is right, retain some of the pessimism if that's who they are, or the beliefs, right? They might not even be pessimistic belief. I mean, they might be just, you know what? It's hard to explain. Not the pessimism, but the 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 negative beliefs about the world that they feel are legitimately true, but use those beliefs and combat them to what degree that you can, even if it's futile in some like long scale way. But hey, maybe if enough of us depressed, empty, voided motherfuckers did something of that nature, maybe we change some hearts and minds. But who knows? Who knows? Like sometimes, really quickly, sometimes I feel like the people that like message me and tell me and leave comments and saying stuff like you're fighting the good fight, Angst. You're this has been really helpful to me. I really do think what you're doing is important. Blah blah blah, like all that sort of stuff. Not blah blah blah. I'm not trying to invalidate. Like I feel like sometimes I've inspired more hope in people than I even have. You know what I mean? I just have the motivation for some insane reason to keep chugging along, even within my own pessimism. That I know is I'm working on trying to make it less harmful to me, and it's been work. It's been helping. I've been making some strides. Um, but like it's weird to hear something like that. It's weird to think that like because then I feel like my pessimism can be so strong sometimes that like I'll see a comment like that and I'll feel like am I misleading them? Am I giving them false hope because I'm like delusional about like being able to make a change that might at least help one or two people in some real way or something. Like, is this bad? Am I being the bad man's right now? It might, like, you know what I mean? That kind of shit. That's funny. It's fucking humorous. In the most grim way possible. All right,
I
guys.
think.
Oh, go ahead.
Oops.
No, no, do it,
I
do it.
think that why I have difficulty with this topic is because most of the time when other people will point out that I'm like being pessimistic or like being self-defeatist or whatever other word they want to use to describe that kind of
Mm-mm.
thing. I don't even like realize that that's like the state. It's just because it's kind of just like the default that my brain goes to at this point is that kind of negative thinking
That turns into
about
like
things.
ambivalence and resignation.
Yeah, because it's like, oh well, I'm already used to it being this way, so it doesn't really bother me, even if it's technically negative.
Yeah, but it's still unproductive.
Yeah, my mom
That's
said
what's
that
interesting.
she put it really succinctly. She said that I kind of just tend to assume that things will not work out as soon as any complication comes up at all. Like I just assume
Yeah,
that everything will
it
be
becomes
fine.
evidence of it. Oh, it's happening again.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then you lean into that bias. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like a fucked up pattern recognition that's also broken.
yeah. Because
But
it's creating a sort of splitting almost.
hmm,
Yeah, I've called it. I've talked about it before, like the schizoid meta. That's one of the major schisms, in my opinion, of the schizoid. Is the sort of oftentimes meta level splitting that occurs, not necessarily about specific people, but about the state of the world or people as whole, or concepts like friendship, connection, sincerity, shit like that. Like a lot of schizoids split on things like that, like bigger picture shit. And
yeah, like sometimes where you'll go from like, oh yes, I would love to be friends and get close to somebody and stuff like that, and other times you're like, oh my god, that's like the worst thing that could happen to me
or
right
you
now.
end up hating yourself, or even having that fleeting moment
Yeah,
of thinking like maybe this is a good thing, and then but then even if nothing bad has necessarily happened or proven, your previous assertions about your inability to do this or find this or the aversion that it causes overtaking you, um, like yeah, you kind of sabotage the whole thing internally to some degree. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, like a yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's a tough time, guys. It's a tough time. But look, you got the Zoid Void. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. It's on Discord. There's the Zoid Void. You go on there. You can talk to other people that are likely dealing with similar negative symptoms and shit like that. You can see what other people post. You can just lurk. It's a very lurker friendly server. Um, there's no social pressures to do anything. Sometimes I'll jokingly tell people to like post something in there that's like has to do with the theme of the channel. Like I'll just be like, post I need memes. Put memes in here. Or something like that. Been beating the drum and carrying the cost of my convictions since 2007 on my pet project. And despite all evidence, no takers among my immediate sphere. Cognitive dissonance and Cassandra syndrome. Eesh. Yeah, feel you on that. But yeah, yeah. And I'll be honest. It's a shout out. I doubt they'll watch this because they don't watch my streams. But there is a friend out there that partially their own sort of stubbornness toward not stubbornness or tenacity that leans into seeing hopeless situations and just going, okay, what can I do about this? What practical and useful, productive thing can I accomplish with this like negative knowledge, with this suffering and that negative knowledge? Their sort of approach to life, another Zoid out there, um, has been really helpful. So we've had a lot of conversations on subjects of this depth, and yeah, it's weird to appreciate someone in that way. That isn't like, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, lame, stupid. Okay. So guys, thanks a lot for being here. Thanks, Herschel. Sorry, got a little bit late there. Oh, I see. Withers is here. Sorry, Withers. Little late, bud. Haven't seen you in a bit
No,
either.
I'm here. I've been here for a while, but you guys were talking and all.
Oh, that's never stopped
You didn't
you.
seem to. You didn't seem to notice me in the whatchamacallit,
The what?
I don't know, it was the fucking Twitch or whatever it was. So.
Oh shit! I wasn't looking at it because it was like only like two people
Hey, are
in
you
there.
doing mostly YouTube now, or?
No, I run it on both. It's just that oh, okay, there we go. Oh, I know I should be in the Super Saiyan training program for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah. But yeah, sorry about that. It's just there was like only, I think you were the only person in there. Like, or two people were in there.
Right. Yeah. There.
And so I wasn't seeing too much chat going on there, so that's I kind of neglected it.
Yeah.
The number probably went down after I switched over to this.
Yeah. But that's what's funny. I don't understand how this works. So like sometimes I'll have like 10 people watching on Twitch and like 7 people on YouTube, and other times it'll be like 16 people on YouTube and like 3 or 2 or even 1 person on Twitch. And I don't know what decides it. I think it's just complete just happenstance. I have no idea.
For me, I've gotten kind of tired of Twitch lately with the ads and stuff. They're really intrusive. Specifically, I can't hear you speak during them, and that's like what I watched the video for.
Well, that's because well then that, I mean, that would be fixed if you stop being a broke bitch and just sub.
No, I know.
Anyway,
It's
kidding.
it's just.
I know. Trust me. The only reason I keep Twitch is because there are some people that like. There's a handful of people that like to support me on there, and I can use every dollar. And I appreciate that there's people watching and maybe they like that platform more. But yeah, I think the vast majority of people like YouTube. But you know what sucks about YouTube? It has a terrible monetization program. That's why I demonetized my channel on YouTube. Like, completely demonetized it. It's fucking worthless. Unless you have like just crazy countless. And then on top of it, even their super chat system and the way the money works on there is fucking broken, stupid, dumb. Super shit. And Twitch's is a lot better. They pay whatever you got, minus, you know, their small cut, on the 16th or so, or the of every single month. So it's like it's always the same. It's like, oh, I got $50 this month, or I got $30, or I got, you know, somebody dropped a big one and I got like, you know, $80 this month from Twitch. You know, shit like that. And so yeah. That's kind of why. Yeah, I don't know. I wish this shit worked big. Like, it just makes sense though, because my channel's on YouTube. So why the fuck would there be more people watching me on Twitch? It doesn't make any sense. But like, yeah, I'd rather just not deal with YouTube's monetization program. It's fucking terrible.
I just wish there was a way that they could do, like, even if it was just like auto subtitles or something during the ads. That would be nice.
Something, right?
It's the interruption of what you're saying that frustrates me with Twitch.
I mean, there's a way around it. Do you have Amazon Prime?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Because I tell people, if you already have Amazon Prime, like for whatever other reasons, I think they still give you can get a free Twitch sub every month, like a code, and then you can just use that code to sub to me, and I get two of Jeff Bezos's dollars every month, and then you don't have to deal with ads. And so if you're already paying for
you don't have to use a code.
You don't have to use a code? I thought you did.
You just go to the whatchamacallit thing, but there's a little button that you have to find that says use your Prime thing.
Oh, okay. It's something like that. But you have to do it every time manually every month.
Right. And you also have to, you have to have your Prime hooked up to Twitch
Yeah.
Otherwise, you probably have to use the code. So
Yeah. Point is, there. If you already have Amazon Prime, you can give me $2 a month of Jeff Bezos' money on there.
Well, whenever Spotify raises their god awful prices again, I'll probably just switch to Amazon.
There you go. And then you can give me that Jeff Bezos money. Hell yeah. But yeah, because YouTube, like, I could probably get super, dude. Like, the craziest thing is getting like one of the biggest super chats I ever got. I think on YouTube was like, what was it? It was like almost $200 one time, and like I was like, I needed that cash. It was bad times, and I was like, okay, cool. That's thank you. Damn, that's amazing. And I was like, I wonder when I'll actually get it, like in my, account. And because of the way they do everything, I didn't get. They took a nice little chunk out of it, of course, and I didn't actually get that shit for like a month and a half or almost 2 months because of the way it was set up. So the money was there. They got the money. It's been charged. I don't understand why it should take that fucking long to give it to me.
YouTube is like a special flavor of evil out of all of those like online.
Somebody
companies.
said it really succinctly. They said, "Oh, it's cool. It's just YouTube basically keeping your money like a bank and using it for like a month and a half."
Basically.
Like,
did you contact anybody about that, Angst, or do they
no,
even have any?
that's normal because of the way that's set up. It depends on when you get paid and when it lands, and then their like pay period thing, and it's always like in this weird backwards. So if somebody would have given me that like 3 days before, then I would have got it in a month. But because they gave it to me on that day, now I have to wait almost 2 months.
Right.
That's fucking crazy. Like, that's crazy.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked. But with Twitch, if somebody say dropped like $100 on me, I would get it on the 16th of that month. Even if they say they gave it to me like on the 14th, and the 16th's coming up. Oh shit, they gave it to me on the 14th. I'm getting it on the 16th.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the most, it's crazy. It's fucking insane. Let's just say I think they do so they can hold money in case copyright claims. They don't need to hold it that long. Twitch doesn't. Twitch sure shit doesn't. They're chugging along.
Well, I mean, I would just say also,
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious to me, at least here. Some of those like donations, super chats, or whatever, they take their big cut out of it or whatever. But I mean, if people were using either crypto or if they were using the PayPal thing, then there should be no cut.
Yeah. Don, I'm agreeing with because Don said something along the same lines with it. Says, they said, Angst, why don't you post a crypto wallet key and take private donations to and fuck all of them? I took it off now because nobody ever used it. I think one person ever did it. Yeah. I had a Coinbase that I had Ethereum and Bitcoin on there for anybody.
It's pretty high in terms of fees, though, bro. You gotta remember that.
Yeah, too. And I'm not a crypto bro that's in super deep. And so I'm gonna use whatever the easiest thing. Yeah, but the fees aren't anywhere near as high as giving me money on YouTube or Twitch.
I know.
Yeah. So.
I prefer using Cash App and PayPal. I usually just prefer using like Cash App and PayPal when I want to like.
I like PayPal because that's only one layer of money that gets taken away. Because like if you donate, if you donate like $10 to me on PayPal, they're gonna take like less than $1. Like it's gonna be like 40 cents of that $10. Yeah. If
25 cents.
Yeah, but if you give it to me on Twitch, then Twitch is gonna take a little piece, and then it gets sent to my PayPal. but then they end up taking a little piece of stuff. Like, and so it's like it just reduces.
So Twitch got to send it to the PayPal, won't send it to your bank account?
Yeah.
No, it'll say no. I have it set up to send to my PayPal because I don't want it to be in our like my family's like normal personal bank account.
Oh,
Like,
just make you a new bank account, man. Just go to the bank.
no, but even if this, because PayPal's so much easier because you can do it from your computer. Like people don't want to have to wire me money.
I mean, I have that in my bank. I have all that fucking online shit in my bank already, anyway.
Yeah, but people know PayPal. People have PayPal accounts. Like I don't know, it's just easier.
Right.
It's like the easiest one for most people to use when you're talking about.
I thought you were talking about like where it's gone through Twitch, right? And then Twitch sends it to you. So I'm not talking about like the other people giving you money directly. I mean, just Twitch sending the money to you. It should go directly to you, no PayPal middleman.
Oh, you mean like? Oh, I see what you're saying. No PayPal bill. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just like. I don't know. I don't know if that would actually make things worse or better. I would rather they just. Like, I'd rather just not do any of that. I hate this. I hate this all. All right, guys.
Numbers.
Huh?
And math. Numbers and
math. I don't want to deal with that. I hate that stuff. I'm stupid. Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for showing up. Thanks for being here. To the people that did show up, and thanks to you guys that watch this as a VOD. I know there's a good chunk of you that do. So thanks for that. What's crazy is a lot of the new people that end up subbing to my channel, they're finding me because they're finding like my old ass videos, or before I was even showing my face, because those
showing up on Google.
those videos have like thousands or whatever of views, and so they tend to pop up more, and it's kind of embarrassing because like I look at like. Fuck you, Withers. That's not what I meant. But no, I was talking about embarrassing because of my positions have changed and I've become a lot more productive about my thoughts, and I've there's just a lot of stuff that's changed, and so I'm like in my older stuff I'm like way more black pilled, and so it's kind of embarrassing if they're like, wow, you said some really good fucking doomer shit, and then I'm like, oh man, I don't think I would agree with myself as much. I would agree with parts of it.
I mean, it is pretty easy to edit those guys, isn't it, nowadays?
I'm not gonna fucking edit my old videos and gaslight people to thinking I always had the same stances. That's crazy.
No, just say like edit, like 2024. I've evolved on my views a bit.
That nobody reads that shit. Nobody's reading the bottom of those descriptions. Nobody reads that. They're just gonna watch the video.
It's got thousands of views on that shit, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, but they're like, what? That doesn't mean they're gonna read the descript.
Hank doesn't know that Zoids will be reading that shit in 100 years.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The Zoid archaeologists and anthropologists. Yeah, sure. We discovered that those that were known to be schizoids were actually the bastions of human knowledge and hope, and we needed them, and now they're extinct, and we must find all sacred lost knowledge of they're gone. We need them. We need their dank knees and pessimism. And
the worst thing about talking to people, like I was talking to the people who were maybe going to fire me the other day, and the worst thing about talking to them about schizoid is, because they're like asking you like, what are you going to do about these, whatever. All wasn't just that, but there was a whole bunch of other things mixed in there, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, look, I'm not looking for any world firsts on the schizoid front, but I mean,
world first.
We're making,
you would love to be a world first, Withers. You're so fucking. That would give you some weird, just some weird, like one of your little narc traits would go off on that one.
Dude, you want to hear about a world?
It would be like, I am the world's first publicly printed schizoid.
I think I achieved the world first just literally yesterday. Okay, so my little bearded dragon that I've been telling you about. Right? This little guy I just took her for a walk just down this pathway that I've told you about before.
Yeah.
It's got all like
Yeah.
the hoity-toity like college kids out of
Hoity-toity.
college in there.
Yeah.
They're very
Who uses
hoity-toity.
that
let me
word?
just tell you.
Yeah, I know, but who uses that phrase? But
Anyway,
it's funny.
so there's a brewery that's right there on the fucking path that's there inside. Now it's moved inside of a high-rise luxury apartment building that's brand new built. And all the people at this fucking place, almost always I get at least like 3 people at least looking at me from that crowd. And on any given walk, there's going to be like at least 10 people that are like looking at me. Oh, that's so cool, lizard and all these things. Anyway, so the social media manager of the brewery wanted to take her picture and my picture with her, and she put them on the social media of whatchamacallit. It's called Sycamore. It's a brewery here in town. And so anyway, this lizard now is a fucking famous ass lizard from Instagram in the little neighborhood here.
Hell yeah.
She must have sent it to 10,000 people. I already had people already saying,
Hell yeah,
"Oh my
bearded
god, it's
dragon."
a lizard from the Instagram." Yeah.
Fucking-
I already got people the next day.
Hey, what is it? What does it feel like that? What does it feel like to know that your bearded dragon has more status than you?
I know, right? You know what's funny is though, Angst, is
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure that she is. Like a lot of these women, like you're gonna doubt me on this. I swear to God, like I've got literal 5, 6,
Shut
7
up,
gaggles,
Wiz. You're so dumb.
gaggles of young women approaching me.
Because of
and
your
just
bearded
acting all,
dragon.
oh my god! It's all because
What
of
is like
bearded
a
dragon.
baby? It's like the
Yes,
guy with the stroller and the baby.
No, it's not
Oh
like
my-
a stroller. I throw it on my shoulder. And so, the guys will
This
think it's just the
fucking
coolest thing ever.
guy,
And
oh
I didn't
God.
realize this, but they think that it's cool just because it sits there and doesn't move around and doesn't go crazy and all,
Yeah, bearded
They
dragons
think
are
that it's
awesome.
just
Man.
super cool to have that dragon on your shoulder.
This fucking guy already exploiting his fucking bearded dragon for attention.
No, I have to
Jesus
take her. It's doctor's
Christ.
orders, actually. The doctor wanted her to go out and get sunshine in the
Oh,
mall.
okay, nice excuse. Are you telling
I'm
people
not
that
even
it's
kidding.
No,
I'm
I
literally not
know.
even kidding.
That's what I'm saying. It's a valid excuse, but it's still an
Yeah,
excuse.
And I thought it was
You're
hilarious.
absurd,
I couldn't
Withers.
believe it when it started up, dude. My mind was blown. I was like, oh my god! All it took was this little bearded dragon. Now I'm just like,
Look at all
fucking-
these people that like
Oh,
are paying
God.
attention to me that I can't connect to in any emotional or real way. It's so cool.
I really did kind of,
So
I tried to,
cool.
and there was this one super hot blonde chick. She was coming
God,
out. She
Withers,
had
you're
3
such a
little dogs
boomer
that she had
sometimes.
adopted.
Mhm.
And I think she was there with her boyfriend or somebody. I don't know, maybe her brother. I don't know. But anyway, and she was coming up to me talking about how she had adopted her dog and all,
Yeah.
And she was a volunteer there at the local fucking whatever animal shelter or whatever,
Your stories, man.
And
Oh.
yeah, and I thought it was I thought it was pretty interesting and all, and I did. I kind of I was like, well, that's super cool. That's very nice, and I tried to emotionally connect there
Okay.
and all that kind of stuff. So wasn't that big of an emotional connection or whatever. But,
Oh, okay. All right, Withers. I think story time is over. I forgot I had the stream still going. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
All right then. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. As usual, when day is dark, always remember happy day. Here and.